Okay, so got some questions, some last minute questions. So let's go through these quickly. I've gone through most of this in class already, so I'm not going to spend too long on it. So here I have a blank design. How do I do an assembly? Got a blank design here. I need to save it first before I can do anything on it. Okay, see my assembly pop up there. Need to pull in a first part, whatever that is. In this case, it's the control handle body. Yeah, just move it out of the way slightly a little bit. And the first thing I need to do is place this part. So if I turn on the origins for the assembly and the origin for the part, video's going a bit funny there. You can see there's the origin for the part, there's the origin for the assembly. So I want to move that onto here. So I do that just by clicking joint. Okay. Click on the origin there. I see the assembly one pop up. This goes grayed out. Click OK. That's it. That's it fully constrained now. So once I left click and try and drag that, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is just add in the parts. So let's go for this one, the control handle itself. Just left click, drag it in, move it out of the way a little bit. Now we want to relate this geometry. We want to move this to there. So if I click on joint now and I hover over surfaces, you see these little control handles pop up there, places that I can select to create a mate. So I'm going to hover over this face. It's the center of that square. When I go to move towards it, disappears. Hold down control, that'll make it stay. Okay, so it's the center there to the center there, and that's it. Now don't forget there's some controls and modifiers here. If I want to rotate it or offset it, I can. Click OK, left click and hold, see that move around. There's my joint folder. I can turn that on and off. Like I say, I'm flying over this because we have gone over this in class a few times. So I'm just answering some of the questions. So let's say now some of the other questions were on drawing. Okay, so drawings, let's do a quick drawing from here. Drawing from design. Leave these the same. This is probably how you see it. Just go to the drop down. If you don't see this listed here, go to browse, look for drawing template 2. Click OK. And you'll see it starts up a drawing for you and it starts popping in a view. Let's say we're happy with that view. We'll just go to 1-to-1, pop that in there, click OK. So there's the first view. If I want to do a section view, I can click on the drawing. Sometimes you can't select, it doesn't automatically go into the middle. Just draw it from, say, a center point down, click OK, place your view, okay, and then you can just go back in and grab that part there, grab that little handle there and drag it up, and you'll see it completes the view. Likewise, I can drag it down and do a partial section view, but we generally always go through. Move the name to the bottom. These letters typically go behind the arrows, but it's not essential. Okay, exploded view. We need to go back to the part. Select a view. I'm going to go for this one. Go back to animation. So in animation, before I told you that we need to set the view here. We don't. We can do that at a later stage. There's been a couple of changes. So how do I do an exploded view? Apologies, now my video's graphics going a bit funny. I simply click on this transform and I select the component that I want to explode. I can drag it out. If I want to see the dotted line, click that button there, click OK. You keep going till you've got all of them exploded. Down here you see storyboard 1, right click there, rename that to EXP1. This is just for your ease of remembering. Save it. Okay, and we go back to design. You don't have to. Go to your drawing then, you'll see this update symbol here, click update. Then you can add in a new base view. And for this one, the representation, you can click on the exploded view. It will default to the view that we selected when we were creating it, but you can also likewise select whichever view you want. You can also create your own views if you wish. I'm going to go for that one. No, not that one. Northeast. That one. Okay. This is the only view that I'll accept being shaded. Okay. So one of their questions was, how do you add parts list? Click that table there. Don't do anything else. Click that. Select the view. Make sure those thin rows are at the top because they're the headers. Place it. Move it around. Just double click on it. Sorry. Double click on it. Turn off description and material. Move it over there. Extend this out. Move it down to the corner. Balloons pop in automatically. Just tidy them up. Make sure they're nice and clear. Spend a bit of time at it, but it should be very quick. Let's say you want to do a drawing now of the body. Add a new sheet. Go base view. Let's do a front view 1:1. Pop it there. Turn on hidden line. Click OK. Now with this view here, select the view. You'll see it come up here. You can turn off whichever one you don't want to see. So there's the control body turned off. And then when I do my projecting view, projects it. If I do a section view, you can see I can start it here just to make sure I get it in the middle. And then I can go back and just drag it up to make sure it goes all the way through. Okay, then I can add in dimensions, whatever dimensions are needed. Okay. Alright, with dimensions, make sure all your dimensions are outside the part. Okay, and try to make sure that these extension lines start on a corner, so as you end up with the gap. So let's say you were doing this dimension here. Try and make sure this gap is on it there. Let's see, adding text. Click on the text button, draw a box, type in top view, close. To make it quick, you can actually Control C, Control V, we'll copy and paste it. Okay, and then you can just, you don't need to do for section because there's already one on it. Section view goes at the top there. Just make sure you drag it down to the bottom. That's where it should be. So this would be front view then, okay? Let's see, what else was the questions? Don't forget to fill in the template. Parts, views. Okay, next one was around modeling. Let's close that. Close that. So let's say we have a part. I'm not going to create a component in here. I'm just going to start sketching. So let's say we have a little rectangular part. I'm going to pop it on the center line. Let's make that 50. Make that 80. Extrude that up. Say 30. No, 50. Oops. Not that far. 50. Click OK. Shell that to be 2 millimeters. Click OK. So we've got our box, but then we want to radius these. So let's take advantage of the shell. Just because of the example that I want to show you, I'm going to pop these in as quite big. Okay, and then we want to radius the bottom. Let's do that at 10. Click OK. Pop the shell back in. Shell brings the radiuses in. Okay, so it's the only time you'll put radiuses or fillets that early on in the timeline. Normally they're at the end. So let's say you want to do a rib and you need to draw it out from the bottom because there's going to be a little recess in it to hold a board. So let's just get going on it and you'll see what I mean when I start doing it. So if I create a sketch on the center line there, when I go to start sketching, it's going to turn it like this, which I can't see stuff. So if you're drawing on a mid-plane, just use this little option here, slice. What that does is that slices the model at the view plane, at the sketch plane. So I'm sketching on this plane and it's sliced it there. Okay, so now I can go ahead and start sketching. Okay, so then I can pull in this line here, click OK. And then I'm going to draw in my rectangle for the rib. Let's say the rib comes up to about there. And then there's a little step on it, and I'll show you what I mean now when I start to draw this. I'm not dimensioning this, but you will be. And this will be clear as well when you see the assessment tomorrow. Okay, so I want to extrude this out till it hits the other side, and extrude it out there till it hits the other side. So let's have a go at this. So if I click on that profile to extrude it, and I start dragging it in this direction, so you see, first of all, it's removing material, and you can see if I was to extrude it as a solid lump, it would start to pop out through there. So one things I can do is, let's turn it to join, and then distance, just go to all. And what it does is it goes until it hits the first bit of geometry and stops. So you see it tidies it up nicely around that radius. There's nothing poking out here. And we can do that in two directions. So I can do that two sides. First side is all, second side will be all, join, click OK. Now let's turn the sketch back on, and let's say we want these two little steps over here because a board is resting in the middle. If I click extrude there, do the same again, one side only this time, go to all, okay, make sure you join so as it hits here. Then I want to offset this. I want to create this little step in the middle. So let's offset. So I can tell it to offset from this. So this is where it's starting, but I can say, well, actually just start up here. So let's put in 10. So you see there, even though the sketch is there, it's starting it here. So it's doing a little offset. Okay, so we're still maintaining this nice finish up to this complicated geometry on the side. And let's go on the other side as well. One sketch, and we're doing a number of features. Let's go that way. All, join, offset. This time we're doing -10 because we want to go the other way. Click OK, turn that sketch off. Okay, now there's the little feature. Okay, and it sits up nicely with all the rest of that geometry. So let's say we're going to do some screw bosses. I'm going to use the same type of principle, and we're going to sketch here, and I'm going to just draw in some screw bosses. I'm going to put one there, one here, one here, and one over there. Okay, I'm going to finish those. It's a bit big. Okay, so then I want to extrude those again. So extrude all of these three downwards, go to all, join. Okay, and the same again. I don't want them to be up at this height, I want them to be down low. So what this does is it gives you quite a bit of power, and it lets you create the geometry without actually creating any work planes. So I've gone 10 in the wrong direction there. Let's go -10, click OK. Okay, so let's now create some ribs. So this tool here, this web tool, doesn't always work. So let's say I want to create some ribs between these. Let's do a sketch again on the top there, and let's pull in these circles here as references, and then this guy. So now let's just start drawing single lines. So let's say I've got one here, 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 and here, and over to there. Now if I go to extrude, up at the top here I've got this little option for thin extrude, so I'm going to select that. And now I can actually select individual lines, change the wall location to center. Let's make that 2 millimeters, and then I can start dragging this down. Okay, that went to 20, not 22. Okay, so at the minute it's removing material. Let's just say join, and once again I can go to all, and that will extrude all the way down. Now let's say it doesn't go in the right direction. You can, when you're using the all command, you get this little flip button, so just hit flip until it goes in the right direction. And again, let's do an offset, profile, offset, and let's go down by 10. Okay, so we can see it's starting down there by 10. Click OK. check my notes. Slice, rib, bow, thin extrude. Okay, that's it. Hopefully that helps. Okay. See you tomorrow.